with one tier that hits just above the knee, or add this. Hello to you too, Luna. So 3 years late, but I finally decide to give the Tempo Sundress from Love Notions Sewing Patterns a go. If you'd like to find out whether or not I would make this pattern again, what my thoughts are on the pattern and its instructions, stick around. We are going to get started with that in just a moment. But before we do, hi, my name is Annie and this is Historically Fashioned. So here I talk about all things sewing, I guess, things I enjoy sewing, things that bother me about sewing, yeah, just good times we have hanging around here. So if you would like to see those kind of videos, I'd love it if you would hit that subscribe button down below. And if you do wind up liking this video, don't forget to hit that like button as well. Now, I did want to address a couple of things before we started. Number one, I needed your guys' help with something. As you can see, I do have this little lavalier mic here. It is a wireless mic, but I'm not sure how I feel about my audio. I'm not sure. I can't decide whether I like it or not. So I was hoping that you guys could help me out with that. Let me know if there's anything about the audio that drives you kind of crazy. Is it too loud? Is there any strange noises? Does it sound echoey? Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that so that if needed, I can upgrade my mic. This is a rather inexpensive mic set, so I could go up a step, I think, maybe. Number two, let's talk about what I'm wearing. This is my latest Style Arc Bell woven dress. I did film my making of this, so there will eventually be a sew along. Not sure when that is going to make it to the channel, as it's kind of a labor-intensive process to get it edited, and I am in a sewing whirlwind right now, just trying to get all these dresses sewn for my trip to Disney World in September. I counted them up. I have 5 completed out of 14, and time is a ticking. So now that those things are out of the way, let's talk about this pattern here. So like I said, this is the Tempo Sundress from Love Notions sewing pattern. This was released about 3 years ago, and then I think last year, about a year ago, they released the puff sleeve pattern to go with it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I spend a lot of time looking at patterns online, and Love Notions patterns have never really grabbed me based on their line drawings, because I don't know what it is about them, but I do not find them eye-catching. I don't look at that and say, oh yeah, I really want to make that dress. So it's, yeah, I don't know. Had they not released the sleeve, I probably never would have purchased this pattern. You can go onto Instagram though and see quite a few sewn up with the sleeves. They're very, very cute. And obviously you can see them with just the strap. Again, very, very cute, but I just prefer sleeves because my shoulders never see the light of day, and I don't want them to turn red and blistered and uncomfortable. So sleeves it is. Let's talk about the way this pattern, I guess some details about this pattern. Let me read the little blurb in my handy dandy book here. So it says the Tempo Sundress is just what you need for a hot summer day. This design is meant for woven fabrics and features a soft V neckline, thick straps to conceal bra straps, and 2 tiers of skirt. Inseam pockets are included and are anchored at the waistline to keep them securely in place. The dress can be made with 1 tier that hits just above the knee, or add the 2nd tier for a mid-calf length. The back of the Tempo features a panel that can either be shirred or elasticated to make this very easy to fit and fun to wear. No need to worry about what bra to wear. The thick straps and mid-back length bodice make it easy to wear with just about any bra. Now, I will be honest, I tend to wear vintage style bras which have a fuller coverage cup and thicker straps. they did show under this dress. I have one bra that I can wear under this dress and not have the straps show, and honestly, it's not my most comfortable bra, but there we go. Let's talk the way this pattern comes. I'll have to check the website, so I will put down below whether or not you can buy this as a printed pattern. I purchased the PDF pattern, and it does come in 3 different formats. You have your printed home format, which is typical letter size or A4 that you stick together. It does say that they are no trim pages, so you just should be able to stick them right together. Then there's the large format or copy shop format, the AO file, where you could just send that up to the copy shop to have that printed for you. And then it also comes with a projector file, which is what I used for mine. I just projected it onto my pattern paper, traced it out, so now I have a hard copy in case I'd like to make this pattern again. I don't have the price right in front of me. I will put that on the screen as well. So I found the projector file was great. It's layered, so I was able to go in, turn off all the layers that I didn't need, project it onto my pattern paper. You could obviously project it onto your fabric as well, but I just find for me, myself personally, I like to have a paper copy because then I don't have to set my projector up every time, because my projector is not in a set place. I have to actually set it up and recalibrate it every time. So it's faster for me to do that once, project a bunch of patterns onto paper, trace them out, and then use those to cut my fabric. So as far as sizing goes, this is alphanumeric sizes from size extra small to 5X. So and it has 2 different size bust cups. You have your standard size bust and you have your full size bust. So when we're looking at patterns, sizes, and I'll see if I can grab a screenshot of this and pop it up. I'm just going to say inches, but I know that probably there are people who work in centimeters out there as well, so I will put a screenshot hopefully of the size chart up here. So it is from a high bust of 31 inches to 55 inches for that 5X. Full bust is 33 inches to 57.5 inches. Waist is 26.5 inches to 49.5 inches. And hip is 35.5 inches to 59.5 inches. So those are your body measurements. Now your finished measurements are for a standard bust, 32 inches up to 56.5 inches. For a full bust, that goes from 34 inches to 58.5 inches. Waist finished size is 30.5 inches to 55.5 inches. And hip is 53.5 inches to 80 inches. So fairly size inclusive. Now there is a tiny little note here at the bottom of the size charts that I did not see, and this will come back to get me later. So when choosing your bust, whether you're going to do a standard bust or a full bust, the direction is if your high bust and your full bust have a 4-inch or more difference, that you should use the full bust pattern. Now, I'm definitely glad I used the full bust pattern. I actually only have a 3.5-inch difference, but I like the way that that's fitting on my bust with the full bust piece. I think it would have been a little tight in the bust area had I gone with the standard bust. But the little note down here at the bottom says the full bust piece adds 2 inches to the waist. Now that's what got me. So for reference, my high bust is 38 inches, my full bust is 41.5 inches, my waist is 35.5 inches, and my hips are 42.75 of an inch. So I chose to go with the size extra large because I wanted it to fit me at my waist. I don't honestly know what I was thinking of. It's got the shirred panel in the back. It would not have been a problem had I gone with a smaller size. So I think like I said, I did go with a full bust extra large. If I make this again, I will size down to a full bust large, and I think that will fit me just fine. Now let's talk directions. So I would say overall, the directions for this pattern are pretty good. And I did look online just to see what's out there as far as sew-alongs. So if you are a new sewist, whether or not there's a good sew-along, so that you could maybe follow that in conjunction with your instructions if you need it. And I know Lifting Pins and Needles has done a sew along for this dress, so I will link that down below. So next thing, overall, I'd say the instructions are pretty good. There are a couple of things that are either redundant or missing. Number one, when I went to cut this pattern out. So like I said, I did make the dress with the ruffle because I wanted mine to be a little bit longer. So this is the ruffle piece. It is just a rectangle that you cut on the fold. Now the full length of this, just, like if I were to lay this down just as it is, this is 26 inches long. Now, the problem with that is this fabric is 45 inches, 45 inches wide. So I could not fit this on the fold and cut it. I was several inches short when I tried to do that. Not a huge deal, not a deal breaker, but it is something to be aware of when making this dress. If you're using a narrower fabric, you are not going to be able to get this ruffle cut out on the fold. So what I did was I actually just cut 3, and then that added a little bit more fullness to my ruffle. And if I'm being honest, I probably could have done 4 so that this would have been a really full ruffle, but I only did 3. So that is number 1 issue that I found with this pattern. Number 2 issue that I found with this pattern, excuse me, I need some water, is something that if you are a seasoned sewist and you are not following this pattern, you're just kind of making things up, doing things the way you like to do them, probably wouldn't be an issue for you. I decided I was going to follow the instructions as much as possible for this first dress, so that's what I did. And one of the main things that I think is the biggest problem with these instructions is they do not tell you to understitch your front facing. Now, the front panel and the side back panels are both finished with facings. The way the sleeve is set in takes care of any issues you might have with that side panel and the facing creeping out, but the front panel, you can probably just see here, wants to roll to the outside, and that's because it does not tell you in the instructions to understitch. Now, when I was making this up, I was looking at it and I was thinking, yeah, I should probably understitch that. I didn't do it, and now I regret it. So I'm going to have to go back in, see if I can understitch that and make that lay a little bit smoother, because it really does just want to turn to the outside. So like I say, this is one of those situations where if you are somebody who has been sewing a while, you would just know, hey, it's a facing, I need to understitch it. If you're a new sewist, that's not something that you would necessarily know. So it would be nice if that were mentioned in the instructions. The second thing with this pattern, this is just a little niggly thing that is not really matter in the scheme of things, but it does tell you to, stitch your skirts together, get your pocket stitched together, and then it specifically says, number 5, run 2 rows of basting stitches across the top of each skirt, approximately a 1/4 inch apart. Do not stitch on the pocket pieces. So we're running our basting or gathering stitches along the waistline of the skirt. Now here's the thing. The way this is constructed, you absolutely need to gather that front skirt. you do not need to gather the back skirt. That shirred panel in the back when flat is about 15.5 inches. You add that to the side pieces. It is exactly the length it needs to be in order to fit that waistline in the back without any gathering. So I ran the gathering stitches and then promptly pulled them out when I went to attach my skirt to my bodice. Again, not a big deal, but it is something to look out for so that you don't waste your time doing that. So what are my thoughts on this dress overall? Overall, I'm very, very happy with this dress. It is a bit big in the waist. I think it is kind of meant to be a little looser, which is not my jam. I like mine to fit a little tighter. So I actually have already taken this in 4 inches at the waist. So I basically went from underneath my dart. In fact, hold on and let me turn this inside out so I can show you what I'm talking about. Hold on one second. Okay, so she's inside out, and let's talk about this a little bit. So as you can see, I've got a lot of extra room here in the waistline. So this pattern comes with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And so I initially stitched everything at 3/8 of an inch. When I tried just the bodice on, I didn't realize exactly how much room was in it. But as soon as I got this skirt on, I was like, ooh, that is way too boxy. Now, because of the way it has the shirred panel in the back, we're looking at a lot of stretch back here. You've got a lot of room for forgiveness. You know, you don't need all this ease unless that's the look you're going for. I might judge. But so I put it on and I was like, this is just way too boxy. Something with a shirred panel in the back really ought to be fitted a little bit better to my body. So what I did, I had already serged my waist seam and did not want to even try picking that out. So I just did a quick and dirty fix here, starting from right here underneath the bust dart. I just started at nothing at the bust dart and tapered to an inch down here at my waist. So I took in a total of 4 inches. So an inch on the front, an inch on the side, and then same thing on this side. So 2 inches per side, 4 inches total. And honestly, I can probably take this in, like I said, a little bit more. I won't do that for this particular iteration, but spoiler alert, I will be making it again. When I make this again, I'm going to make that smaller size. I'm going to make a size large instead of extra large, and hopefully that will fix this problem. If it doesn't, I will just, before I attach the skirt, I will just go ahead and taper this in a bit more. So yeah, that's where that, you know, extra 2-inch extra at the waist comes in when you use that full bust cup. Now up here you can see how this even now is still wanting to turn to the outside. So I do need to get in under here and see if I can stitch that facing onto the seam allowance. Just give it a quick understitch as far as I can around here and get that to stay. Now I do love that the pockets are anchored at the waist. The pocket that it came with was relatively small, and so what I actually did is I actually did use the pocket piece. I just made it wider and a bit deeper because I like my pockets to be a bit bigger. And then the last thing that I would change in construction for this is the way the shirring is done. So I kind of have my own special little unique way of doing shirring. Most often you shirr the panel, and that's what I did. I shirred the panel and then you attach it to everything else. I am that weird person who likes to attach everything and then do the shirring. I just find it can be less fiddly that way. This was okay because of the way it's all constructed. This was actually fine. But you can see my shirring ends here and my skirt starts here. So I've got about 1.5 inches there that is unshirred. Now I think what I'm going to do is go back in and just add a few more lines of shirring here to the waist, and that should pull this in a little bit more so that when I'm wearing it, it's a little tighter around the waist and not so loose here. And then I think that will help with the fit as well. Otherwise, I'm really pleased with the fit. Let's see. Oh, there was a couple more changes. Change number 3, I guess, that I will make. As much as I love these puff sleeves, I want them to be a little bit longer. So I'm going to lengthen my sleeve pattern so that my underarm seam is just a little bit longer, maybe by about 2 inches, just because I like my sleeves to sit about where these sleeves sit. And the sleeves on this dress actually sit up higher, like around here, more in my armpit, and I don't love that. So I want to lengthen those a little bit as well. And then the last change that I want to make to this pattern before I make it again is I actually want to add a little bit more sweep to the skirt. So to do that, I will just slash and spread. So in a couple of spots along the panel, I'll go ahead, slash it, add a few more inches down at the hem. And then so that it's a little bit wider at the hem and I have a more sweep. And then I think I'm going to lengthen the pattern piece by probably about 3 inches and leave off the ruffle. The ruffle is cute. For me, it's not quite full enough. It looks a little bit skimpy, and I think overall it makes the dress a little bit long for my purpose of wearing it in Disney World. But other than that, I really actually do like this dress. I found the construction pretty straightforward, easy to do. I think that definitely this is a fun one for someone who is just learning to sew. They could totally tackle this. Just keep in mind those couple little things, like you do not need to add that gathering stitches to the back, and you definitely need to understitch that front facing. But otherwise, I think that it is super straightforward, very easy to accomplish. Took me no time to sew this up. The things that took the longest were running the shearing and gathering my ruffle up. But yeah, I guess that wraps it up. So yes, would I make this dress again? Absolutely. I think it is a super cute dress. I think in one of my lightweight cottons, it's going to be great, easy breezy to run around Disney World in. I can definitely wear it with my cute little Jambu shoes, and you know, it'll be super cute. So I have already got plans, I think, to make these two. I think I'd chosen to make, I don't know, I think I may have chosen a different pattern for these, but now that I've made this, I really like that. So I'm going to make, I think it'll make an absolutely adorable tiki dress. So I'm going to use my tiki fabric, and I'm going to be hanging out in the tiki room with my Dole Whip in my tiki dress, as happy as can be in that. So I think that'll be super cute. And I think it will also be a good fit for this really pretty Alice in Wonderland print. I adore this print. I think it's so cute. I just kind of adore Alice anyways. So yes, definitely have at least 2 more of those planned for my trip to Disney World. And I guess that's everything for this video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And again, if you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more, hit subscribe. You can sometimes find me at over on Instagram at Historically Fashioned. And until next time, I do hope that you are able to find some time in the upcoming week to spend a little bit of that time in your sewing space, creating something beautiful, creating something that makes you happy. And until next week, I will see you guys later. Bye.